So first of all, let me just say hi. And before we get started, great job on your retakes. So many of you went back, studied previous weeks, and then did much better on the retake. So, and also the homeworks, a lot of you filled in some homeworks that you hadn't had a chance to finish or that you didn't complete the first time. And you really have to grade a lot. So good job. I'm really happy with what happened on retake week. It was even better than the first retake week. And thank you. I know that it's a pain to write the qualifiers, and I made you write it a particular way. I hope it was helpful somehow. And just great job. So now all we have to focus on going forward is stuff for the final exam. And let's start just by saying hello. So if you could turn your cameras and mics on just for a minute for what may be the last time, say hello. Hello.
Hey.
Hey. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. We do have class on Wednesday too, but since it's a problem session type class, we don't usually all wave and say hello, and that's why this is maybe the last time. Today's question is, how will you treat yourself before an exam? So you may not have thought of this, but I mean, I know you know that the exam is very stressful, right? When you take any final, but maybe you could do something nice for yourself in the hour or two before the final. Instead of being stressed or rushing to get there or whatever, maybe you take a run, maybe you have a coffee, maybe you meditate, listen to music, whatever it is. Think about what would be good for you to do before the exam to be nice to yourself. Like if you were your own friend, what would you advise your friend to do to just get in a good place before the exam? And think about that, put it in the chat, press return when you're ready. What nice thing can you do for yourself before you go to a final exam? Yeah, eating. That's I see all that coffee. Yeah, I hear you. But the eating is really important, especially for a morning exam. They've done studies that show that people do better on assessments if they've eaten. And they do even better if they've eaten something with protein instead of something that's just like cereal. I guess you get a little bit of protein. A lot of coffee. A lot of people say coffee. Well, that's good because Starbucks is amazing. But you know, whatever is good for you, take care of yourself. Final exam is stressful. You're almost done with the semester. You are going to make it through the semester. We're almost done with hopefully the last online semester that we have to do. We'll see what I'm hoping that better be the case. Okay, so this is going to be open all class. If you have questions, you can go to polev.com/Tallman700 and stash them here kind of asynchronously. I'll get back to this at the end of class. But of course, I'm happy for you to just ask right away in the chat, raise your hand on the Zoom, or just start talking and ask a question. That's all fine. What we're going to do today is basically talk about the final. We've talked about it already last Monday, but we're going to talk about it again just to remind everybody what's happening. And then we'll have a bunch of time for questions, and that could be questions that are logistical in nature about the final, but also questions about the study guide. We could get a head start on Wednesday's problems by starting to tackle whatever's left on your study guide. I'm happy to do any math questions you like as well. And at the end, I will let you go early today so that you have time to complete the official JMU course evaluation for this class if you haven't already. So just a reminder about the final exam. I've decided to split the 500 points of the final into 3 parts so that it's not like a whole lot of stress just on the timed, scheduled exam. So the 3 parts are the final exam study guide homework that you got last week on Monday. You only have 2 days left to finish that assignment, and it's pretty long. It's 40 questions instead of the usual 25. So do not wait till the last minute. I see some of you haven't started it yet. If that's you, you better get started because that's going to take a while, and it's worth as much as the in-class portion of the exam. I'm really trying to give you guys a break this semester and let you show me what you can do in different ways. So the WebAssign study guide is your way of showing me that you can work through problems, do calculations, the final exam in Canvas is like the quizzes that we took. You're going to actually be accountable for those calculations so that I know you didn't just type them all into Desmos when you did the homework, right? Like I'm going to ask you how you did it. And then I even put some points in here just to do a reflection. Basically, I just wanted to give you some points. This is a good way to make sure everybody has a nice free way to get points. And also, I really do actually care about your answers on that reflection. I learned a lot from them. Anyway, please notice that the 2 parts of the exam that you already have are due in just 2 days at the end of Wednesday, which is our last day of class. You may have some classes that meet on Thursday, but we don't meet on Thursday. So it's our last day of class, and those are due at the end of that day. And then the last part, the third part, is a timed and scheduled exam during your official final exam time. And we're going to talk about that more in just a moment. Here's what it looks like if you go to the calendar on our class website. You can see that we're right here on Monday, April 26th. The homework is basically those 2 parts of the final and the course evaluations, and you can see that they are due right here on Wednesday when we'll have our last problem session. That'll be a normal class just like Friday, except that I imagine that you will come with questions about the review assignment because that's what will be left, and that's due at the end of that day. Now, you guys are not section 1 and you're not section 3. Everybody hearing me live right now is section 2. If you're watching this as a recording, then you might be section 1 or you might be section 3. So make sure you know what section you are. But everybody who's watching me live right now, you're in section 2 and your exam is 1 week from today at 8 a.m. So 1 week from now at this time, you will be done with your final in this class, okay? Okay, and let's see, before that, before the final, you can see in Canvas here, here's the 2 assignments that you just have 2 days left to finish. I did give you some extra time on those because they're a little longer than usual, but the time is running out. And then also, this is the course evaluation that we will do at the end of the class today. All that stuff, as it says there in Canvas, is due on Wednesday. We're going to do this right now. You should only see the section 2 one. It's just a quick engagement point activity to give you some points for being around and also to confirm that you understand when your final exam time is. And then stuff is due on Wednesday. Final exam week begins on Friday, but your final in this class isn't until Monday. All right. So if you look at, this is also in Canvas. You can see the different parts of the final exam. Here's the 2 you're already working on. The third part is timed and scheduled on Canvas and Zoom. And so you have to call into Zoom just like you did today with your personal link that you've already authorized. You're going to call in with that link from a distraction-free environment and have your camera on for the exam, okay? So if that is a problem, you're going to need to send me a Canvas inbox message right away. We're going to do a little assignment about that in a moment. But if that's a problem, you need to let me know so we can figure out, like, are we going to do a private, like a individual oral exam or something instead? I'm not sure what, but if you can't be within the confines of the exam parameters, we have to figure out something else. The final exam honor code confirmation that I just put an arrow next to, that's just like every honor code confirmation you've done all semester long. You can do it right now. It only takes a minute, but if you'd rather not think about it on the day of the final, you can just do it right now and then you'll be done. This don't panic thing that I just put the second arrow next to, I'm going to show you that in a moment. It's a thing I suggest you print out and take with you to the exam, have on your table. You are section 2, so there's the one that pertains to you, okay? All that's on Canvas. I just wanted to make sure that you see it there. Let's do right now the final exam check. So if you go to Canvas right now and go to week 15, this is sitting there in the week 15 module, there should only be one time check showing for you, and it should be section 02. If it's a different section, then you've been in the wrong section of class all semester, which is fine, but we might want to have a chat about how that works. So it should say section 2 right there. And this is just a quick survey to make sure that you know when your final exam time, and that I know that you know your final exam time. So when you go there, it'll look kind of like, hold on, let me get a copy of it for you over here. Kind of like this. You say you understand that you're in this 10:30 a.m. section right here, and you can check that on my Madison. Here's the time and date of your final exam. It's the official JMU time. Make sure that you set your alarms or do whatever you have to do to make sure you're going to be there. I am so sorry about the 8 a.m. thing. Do not stay up late on Sunday. You need to have your brain with you on Monday morning at 8 a.m. So on Sunday night, make plans to go to bed early, please. Finally, this just says I actually have to show up to the exam. The exams will all end at 10 a.m. unless you have an ODS accommodation, in which case, if you have time and a half, your exam would end later, but it would start at the same time. Says you had to call into Zoom and be in a well-lit area and blah, blah, blah. And then finally, this is just saying you have to complete the honor code confirmation so you're not confused on the day of the exam. Anyway, hopefully while we were doing that, you filled that out. That'll give you 5 free points just for filling that out, just so I can be sure that everybody understands where they're supposed to be. Here's the don't panic thing. Everything in here is just like stuff about the final exam that you already know. It is a 20-point exam because it's like 4 quizzes, basically. It's like 4 times the length of a quiz, pretty similar to the way the quizzes are. And so you have 4 times as many problems, or 20 problems. And mostly the reason I think you should print this out and have it just to keep yourself calm has to do with this part that I just put a star near. And the fact that you can't go back, in the exam, you can only go forward. I recommend you do the following. You write down every time in 6-minute increments. Yeah, 6-minute increments like this. Caitlin says, I don't see the survey thing in my Canvas. It should be in week 15. Should be in week 15. Tell me if you can't find it. It's not in the final exam one. It's in the week 15 one. Confusingly, this week 15 is also a piece of finals week. So everything is in 2 different modules there. But let me know if you can't find that. So what this chart that I'm making here is like, let's say you're on problem 3, right? And it's 8:15 in the morning. And you think, am I falling behind? Do I need to go faster? I need to save time for later problems. Well, the problems are coming at you randomly. They're not harder at the end than they are at the beginning. They're random. Some will be harder than others. If it's 8:15 and you're on problem 3, you can look at this chart and see, oh, I actually have 3 more minutes that I could spend on this problem and I would still be on track. And chances are you'll be way more than on track. Like by the time you get to question 12 or something, you'll probably have a good 10-minute or even 20-minute buffer on like how long you can spend on a question. And what I'm hoping is that this will keep your anxiety down, right? So make this list, make yourself a list of what problems you should be on at any given time, and then you'll be able to calm down and spend the time on each problem and not feel like you have to rush in case something complicated happens. There could be problems that take you 10 minutes to do. This is true, but they're spread out all over the place. There's other problems that will take you 2 minutes to do. So this will tell you what your buffer is. I don't know about you, but I cannot do arithmetic when I'm stressed. So I would make that list just so that I don't have to waste time during the exam calculating if I have enough time left to finish the exam. Anyway, that's my advice. Let's also go do the course evaluations. In your Canvas, in the left sidebar, there is a thing called course evaluation tasks. You can open this right now. Just go to Canvas and open this and see if you've done it yet. About 1/3 of you have already done this, and 2/3 of you have not done this. This is open until Wednesday, This is the official JMU course evaluation for this class. And it is really important to me that 100% of you fill it out because data is kind of meaningless if a lot of people don't complete it, right? Like I want to hear from everybody, every student in the class, and what they thought of the class. So goal number one is that I would like to have all of you answer this. And goal number two is written down here. Um, Please leave written comments. These evaluations have like check boxes where you can say like excellent, good, okay, poor, whatever, like a rating for things like the course materials or the importance of the class hour or the availability of the instructor or whatever it is. If you just leave a rating, but you don't leave a comment, that's essentially contentless to me. I don't know what part of it you liked or didn't like. And so I can't learn from it. You are evaluating the course, but the more important thing is that I am learning from your evaluation. So please make written comments. Take the time to write as many written comments on the official course evaluation as possible. Feel free to write good things or bad things. I have very thick skin. I want to hear what you don't like as well as what you do like. And I'm not going to get in trouble if you say, I hate you and I hate your stupid class and I hate everything about everything. That's fine. You can say that and then try to help me understand why so I can learn from that. Okay. Anyway, if you haven't done it yet, go to Canvas right now. Go click on that course evaluation task. We're going to finish early today so that you have time to just sit and do that course evaluation undistracted. Okay. So, but just open it so it's there. Okay, let's check in and see what questions people have, if any. Why do we need cameras on? Well, what a fantastic question. I honestly, nobody knows what they're doing when we're teaching online. And some of my colleagues are making students do like Respondus Monitor, which actually like looks at your eyeballs and makes sure you're looking at the screen or something. I don't know, it's terrible. And some people are doing lockdown browser, which means you can't access the internet anywhere. But in our quizzes, you are allowed to go and look on the internet as long as you're not conversing about those particular problems. You can go to a calculator website, you can go to Wolfram Alpha, you can go to your old homeworks, whatever you want. So I don't want to lock that down. But I also want it to feel like we're serious and we're all in the same place. And I also want just to be there. Like the final is a terrifying thing. And I would like to be right there so that if you have any problems, you can chat or I can see if something bad is happening to you. I don't know. And, also I want to make sure it's you taking the exam. And yeah, that's all. Just to be there. So it's like proctored, and that's very nice of you. But some people right now are angry at me about the cameras. So thank you for saying that. I want it to feel like a proctored exam. To me, that is the most normal thing, is for everyone to show up in the same place in person and take a final exam on a piece of paper, right, together. And we can't do that, but we can try to simulate that online. And I actually think it's slightly less stressful to simulate that online than to have you all just take it at random times, whatever. I don't know if I explained that well, but honestly, I don't know the answer to that. I went back and forth about all those things for a lot, and this is what I settled on. So I'm happy to take more questions about the exam. I'm happy to answer math questions about the review assignment. And yeah, you are allowed to use those. It's the same homework, the same honor code policy that you've always had. And when you fill out the honor code confirmation for the final, you'll see it's the same thing. Like you are allowed to go to Desmos. You are allowed to eat a delicious cookie. You are allowed to look back at your own homeworks and your own quizzes, right? You are not allowed to like be on a Discord chat with some of your friends during the final. You are not allowed to sit down and take the final next to somebody else and talk about it. You're not allowed to take let your smart sister take the exam for you, right? Like stuff like that. You're not allowed to post questions on Chegg and hope that the answers come back, or even look for them there, right? You shouldn't look for the actual question that's on the exam. You should use the internet as a resource. So anything that's a resource that's general, yes, including your own personal things, including the ebook, yeah, I want you to use that. I want you to use that because honestly, that alone isn't going to solve the problem for you, as you well know, right? From the quizzes, they're hard. So yes, the answer is yes. I hope I made that clear in what way it is yes. Okay, other questions in the chat are fine. Other questions here are fine. Questions out loud are fine. I do want to end early for people who need to fill out the course evaluations. I think right now, what I'll do is I'll say that right now, if people want to go, they can say goodbye and go. Those of you that want to stay and get a head start on the problems that we'll be talking about on Wednesday and talk about some math or have any other questions, you can stay. Okay, so let's say goodbye. But then anybody who wants to stay, I'm right here. We're going to stay till the end of class. Okay, so bye if you want to go.
Good luck, everyone.
Good luck. See you Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye-bye.